Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Chrissy, and in today's video I will be sharing with you guys on how I made this beautiful jumpsuit you are seeing right here. It's a jumpsuit that has a pocket at both sides and also a rope at the waist. You can see the collar and you can also see the sleeve I have there. Then this is the button as well, as you can see. So I use this picture on the side of my screen to create this one here, as you can see. So this for my client is not for me, and you can see the collar there is at the one I made is at the side. All right, if you want yours to be exactly at the center side, you can go ahead and adjust, or you go ahead and fix yours to be at the center side. All right, so if this sounds like something you're interested to learn, you want to keep on watching, and let's get started. Please do not forget to subscribe so you get notified once I upload a new video. All right, so guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so to start out with this story, I'm going to be marking 4 inches at the downside. So remember that the picture we are working with has turn up at the downside. You get, so if because of the turn up I'm adding 4 inches, so I'll add 2 inches. I'll use 2 inches for the folding, then use 2 inches for the turn up. You get, so after marking these 4 inches, I also drew a straight line across. Now we are making a jumpsuit like I said before, and the length of this jumpsuit is 37 and the half length is 16 inches, as you can see. So right now I just placed my tape at 37, then I removed 16 inches for the half length, so I'll just use it to make a straight line across like this. Okay, so after doing this, the next I'm going to be doing is to mark 3 inches on this side here. Just go ahead and mark 3 inches, then I'll use my ruler to make a straight line with it like this. Just stop somewhere around your thigh. All right, so after that, what I'm going to do is to place my tape at the waistline. I'll mark the waist circumference by 4, add 1 inches for the dart and 1 inch for seam allowance. Also, I came down by 8 inches. This will serve as the hip line. So after marking it, I made a straight line with it like this. Then after that, now I'll go ahead and divide the hip circumference by 4, then add 1 inches for the seam allowance. Okay, so now I have added the 1 inch for the seam allowance, so I'll just go ahead and connect it from the waistline down to the hip. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to get the crotch area. So to get your crotch, you're going to divide your hip circumference by 4. All right, so when I divide my client's hip circumference by 4, I have 11 inches. All right, but because we're making a jumpsuit, I'll add extra 3 inches. All right, so 3 inches plus 11 inches will give me a total of 14 inches. If you're making this for a tall person, you can add 4 inches if that person is very tall, but the person I'm making this for is not too tall. All right, just average in height, so that's why I added 3 inches. Because it's a jumpsuit, you don't need it to tight on the, you don't need it to tight the person on the crotch side. All right, so after making a straight line with this, we can see that I'm marking 4 inches exactly, sorry, 14 inches exactly. So I'll just use this ruler to make a straight line. Can you see what I'm doing here? Okay, so I'll extend it to the side I mark my 3 inches. All right, so I also extend the 3 inches to meet the crotch area, just like this. All right, so after doing this, the next thing to do is to mark the thigh measurement. So the thigh measurement is 30 inches and I divided it by 2, so I marked 15 inches. All right, after marking this 15 inches here, I also add half an inch for the seam allowance. Okay, so after that, I'll use my ruler to connect it just like this. Okay, so after I was done doing this one, the next thing I'm going to be doing again is to place my tape on the crotch line. I will come up by 1 inch. Okay, so from there I'll make my curve just like this. Can you see? So you come up by 1 inch on your crotch line, then go ahead and make your curve just like you see me doing. Alright, so the next you want to do is to go ahead and divide her both round knee circumference. Alright, go ahead and divide it. Her own is, I think her own is 22. Alright, yeah, her own is 22, so I divided it by 2, then I had to mark 11 inches. Alright, so after marking this 11 inches, I decided to shape it more, so I marked 1 inch instead of the half an inch I marked earlier. I added extra half an inch. Okay, so after that, you can see that I connected it to the crotch line. Now I'll just place my tape again, then I'll replace the half an inch I marked. I still have 11 inches there, so I'll add extra 1 inch instead of the half an inch I added. I decided to make it 1 inch. Okay, so if you want to shape yours, you're going to shape it like this. And when you shape it, if you notice it's too shaped, what I'm going to do is to come out a little bit, just like you see me doing. So after doing my, notice it was too shaped. Okay, that's why I said to come out a little bit. All right, because I don't want it too free and I don't want it too porous. All right, for her, because of what she said or what she asked me to do. So after doing that, you can see what I have here. All right, so you can decide to leave yours straight. You can decide to leave the crotch side straight for your own. If you want it free, you can decide not to shape it, just like I did here. All right, so after that, you can see when I connected, I drew a straight line when I connected it to meet the hem. So after that, you can see I'm cutting it off just like this. So I'll just go ahead and cut it. Then after cutting it, now I'm going to place it on another fabric, then cut out the back piece. So for the back piece, you can see that my fabric is on a fold. All right, so I've placed the front piece here like this. So on the crotch line, I'm going to extend it. All right, I'll just use my ruler to extend it a little bit. Just extend it straight like this. Okay, so after extending, the next thing you want to do is to come up by 1 inch. You can see where I placed my tape, then mark 1 inch there. Then at the side, you're going to mark 1.5. At the crotch side, you're going to mark 1.5 for the side. Okay, so then use your ruler to make a straight line. Okay, so I'm doing here. So after that, the next thing you want to do again is to come up by 1 inch on the crotch line. Come up by 1 inch, then for the crotch extension, you're going to mark 3 inches. After that, go ahead and connect it like this. Can you see what I'm doing here? So after connecting the next thing I want to do is to also mark 1.5 inches here as well. Can you see? Then you connect from the crotch line to the side, you mark your 1.5. Go ahead and make a straight line using your 1.5 inches, just like this. Okay, so after doing that, you can see where I have here. So for the upper part side, for the back, you're going to just make a slant. For this is just for the bum rest. All right, so just go ahead and do yours like this. All right, so after doing that, go ahead and cut it off just like this. Then after cutting, you're going to now get your dart. So for the dart, I'll mark 4 inches. Okay, so then after marking my 4 inches here, I'll also come down by 4.5 inches for the dart length. All right, so then mark half an inch at the both side as well. Then go ahead and notch it. So after marking your dart, you notch the both side. Once I'm through with that, you can see where I have here. So I'll just go ahead and keep this aside, then I'll work on the upper part. So for the upper part, I'm going to firstly draw a straight line across at the upper part. So this will serve as my starting point line. After doing this, next thing is to place my tape. Then the half length is 16 inches, then add 1 inch extra for the seam allowance. So I'm marking total of 17 inches. Okay, then after that, use your ruler to connect it to give you a straight line like this. After doing this, next thing you're going to do again is to place your tape at the center side. I'm going to mark half an inch straight. So why I'm adding this half an inch extra for the placket and also for the button. That's where our placket is going to be, and the button is going to be there as well. Then after making a straight line, I'll divide the shoulder circumference into two, then come down by 8 inches for the armhole depth. Then after that, I'll just make a straight line to meet my the armhole depth. Then after doing that, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant, then also divide what I have there left and come in by half an inch, then mark quarter of the bust circumference. Okay, I always do this on the channel. All right, so after doing that, I'll just go ahead and curve it like this. You can see what I did here. Okay, so after that, I'll mark 3 inches for the neck wideness and also come down by 3 inches for the neck depth. So after that, I'll make my round curve like this. All right, so after doing that, I went ahead to change position because they took light, so I'm making use of a natural light now. After marking my shoulder slope, I'll place my tape on the shoulder. Then I want to determine where the dart for the front piece is going to start from. So I'm going to start the dart for the front piece from her under bust. All right, so her under bust is 13.5. I just spotted it out, so I subtracted half an inch at the both sides like this. Okay, so after I was done doing that, I will also go ahead and mark quarter of her bust circumference, then add 2 inches for the seam allowance. So on the waistline, remember the waist has a rope at the front, so I marked her quarter of the waist circumference. Then after that, I added 1.5 inches for the ruffle, and again I added extra 2 inches for the seam allowance. So I only added those inches at the front piece. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut it off. All right, so this is how the front is looking like at the waistline there. Can you see? So I'll just go ahead and cut out the back piece as well. So I've gone ahead to cut out the back piece, as you can see. Now the difference between the back and the front piece is just the neck depth. All right, so the neck depth is 2 inches for the back. All right, while the front is 3 inches. So when cutting yours, first of all, cut out the back piece, then you can use the back piece to cut out the front piece. All right, because of this half an inch, I later eliminated it from the back. Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing next is to go ahead and have already notched the that. Okay, so right now I want to remove the extra inches I added at the front. All right, for the waist only. Okay, so the rope is for the front only, so I'll just remove the extra inches I added, though these inches wasn't enough because I was managing the fabric. If you want it very rough, you can add like 4 inches, 5 inches. Okay, for the waist area only. Okay, after doing this, I'll go ahead and cut out the pocket for the both side. Okay, so for the pocket, I really gonna ahead to cut out this fabric, so I'll just measure the length and the wideness. I have it 2 piece here, but I'm going to open up just one piece to take the measurement. So for the wideness, you can see I have 13 inches and I also have 19 inches for the length. Okay, so now after I was done doing this, now just take a good look at how I'm going to be cutting this pocket. So the pocket is just for the front piece of the knicker, a jumpsuit. Okay, so do not cut the pocket for the both side. Don't make that mistake. You can see that I removed the back side. You can see I removed the back piece for the knicker, so this is the front here. All right, so what I'm going to be doing now is on the waist side, on the waistline, I'll mark 3 inches for the pocket wideness, then I'll also mark 7 inches for the pocket length. Okay, where the pocket will stop. So right now just make a slant with it. You can also curve it if you want to curve. You can curve if you want to make a slant like I did. You can just make your slant. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to place one side of the piece like this. Now I want to just shape one side of it. All right, so this is how I'm shaping it, just to get a little curve for the side. Okay, so after shaping it like this, you can see what I have here. Now I'll just remove it and I'll place the other side. You can see that I've turned it over, so I've placed the other side. You can see that this other side is straight, meaning that I've not shaped or do anything there. Okay, so I'll just place it like this. You can see what I did there. Then after placing, I'll just go ahead and cut it together with the pocket I marked. Be the mark I drew anyhow. Okay, so after that, you can see what I have here for the pocket. So when you close it up like this, you can see that it already have a pocket shape. Okay, so this is it. You can see that I've placed it. All right, so you can just go ahead and measure it. I have exactly the 3 inches. So now if you put your hand, now you have your pocket. Okay, so now after I was done doing this, I'll also do the same thing for the other piece. Okay, so now for the front, I'm going to start sewing. The first thing I'm going to do, this is the back front. Okay, so this is the back piece. What you're going to do now is to go ahead and make your darts for the both side, at the both side. Okay, so for the front, you can see that I slashed the center side. All right, so I've slashed the center side, and you're going to also make the darts for the front, starting from your under bust line. Do you get? Now just go ahead and do that. So after doing that, you can see what I have here. Okay, so this is the front. For the front I told you it's 13.5. For the under bust is 13.5, so I added extra half an inch. Then I started the dart for the front from 14 inches. Okay, because I haven't joined the shoulder. For the back, I came down by 9 inches, then added extra half an inch, then make my dart. So for the shorts, you can see what I have here. So I'll just go ahead and make the dart for the short. Okay, for the short pant. So after making the darts for the both piece, you can see what I have here. So for the shorts, I told you it's 4.5 inches. Okay, so I did this on all the piece. Can you see? All right, so the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and sew the pocket. Okay, so to sew this pocket, this is the both piece for the pocket. All right, so now to sew this pocket, what I'm going to do now is to place the curved side for the piece. Go ahead and place it the right side facing each other, then head over and sew with half an inch. All right, so after sewing with half an inch, you can see what I have here. I also went ahead to top stitch it. Okay, so after top stitching, you can see what I have here. Just look at what I'm doing. So right now I'm going to fold it into two like this, then you turn it over to the right side. So this is the pocket. You can see how it's looking. All right, can you see? So if you're confused, you have to measure the 3 inches, then adjust, or you shift it front anyhow, just to make sure you have the exact 3 inches. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is at this point here, I'm going to flip it over to the wrong side. You can see I flipped it over to the wrong side. Then I'll head over to my sewing machine. Then from that exact point, go ahead and sew with half an inch. So after sewing, you can see what I have here. I just made a curve with the sewing. Okay, I just made a curve like this. Then after that, I'll trim off the excess just like this. All right, so after trimming off the excess, you can see what I have here. Can you see? So I'll also go ahead and turn it over to the right side. All right, so go ahead and turn it over to the right side. You can see what I have here. Also go ahead and arrange it in place very properly, just like this. Okay, so now the next thing you want to do for the pocket is to go ahead and make a top stitch at the upper part. All right, so your pocket will not be shifting anymore. All right, so just look at what I'm doing here. You're going to head over to your sewing machine and make a straight stitch. Okay, just measure the 3 inches, then place it very well. Go ahead and make a top stitch like this. After doing that, I will be right back. So guys, after making my top stitch, you can see what I have here. So I also did the same thing. I did the same thing on the other piece as well. Can you see? So right now, just go ahead and place them the right side facing each other like this. Make sure that everything is placed the right side facing each other and they are all arranged. Then you're going to come down by 8 inches, or to give extra gap, you're going to come down by 9 inches because it's a jumpsuit. Okay, so because the jumpsuit, come down by 9 inches. If the person is too tall, you can come down by 10 inches, 11 inches. Then after that, I went ahead to sew. You can see what I have here. Place your tape. When you come down by the inches, then go ahead and sew the remaining flap. Okay, I'll be the remaining crotch. So after that, you can see what I have here. So now the next thing you're going to be doing now is to join the back piece for your short. So go ahead and place them the right side facing each other. All right, you know the back piece doesn't have a joint for the half length on the half length. Okay, so now you're going to head over to your sewing machine and go ahead and sew from the upper part down to the crotch line using half an inch. So after I was done doing that, you can see what I have here. So this is the back side. This is how it is looking. So this is how you make yours. Can you see? All right, so after that, I'll bring the upper part for the back, then go ahead and place them the right side facing each other. Just place it the right side facing each other like this, then go ahead and sew using half an inch. Okay, so after I was done doing that, you can see what I have for the back, and this is the front. This is how everything is looking. Okay, so now this is the upper part and down side for the front. So right now, I'll just place it the right side facing each other. I just placed one of the half lengths on this side, right side facing each other. Place the other one at the other side. Then go ahead and sew it half an inch. After sewing, guys, you can see what I have here. So these the allowances I made. You can see that I have half an inch there. So now you're going to place your tape. Take the measurement you have from the neckline to the other end. Okay, so when I measure it, I have 47 inches. So I'm going to cut like 60 inches, okay, for the placket. So now I've gone ahead to iron this out. You can see how it looks like. So I'll just go ahead and open it up. Now I'll place my tape, then I'll measure the width. So the width I have there is 5 inches, okay. All right, so now you can see it's 5 inches. So I folded in half an inch using my iron like this, and I folded in 1 inch on this other side. Then I'll use remaining inches to close it up. All right, just like you see me doing here. So now what I'm going to do now, you can see that I have join at the center side of the piece. So now the joint place is where I'm going to be placing on the crotch area. Just look at what I'm doing here. Just place it. Go ahead and turn your fabric or your dress the wrong side. You're going to place it from the wrong side. Okay, so just look at what I'm doing here, guys. This can be so tricky, especially if you're first time making it. Okay, that's why it's so important for you to watch very closely so you see what I'm doing here and how I'm doing it, especially on the crotch line. So for the crotch line, when you get to that point, make sure that the both seam is facing one side, as in make sure it's facing one side. Do not open the seam, do not open it. Okay, just make sure it faces one side. Then after that, you go ahead and sew using your half an inch. So this is how you're going to sew it. So watch what I'm doing here. When you sew the other side, you go ahead and sew this other side as well. Can you see what I'm doing here? Go ahead and sew this other side until you get to the other side of the neckline. So guys, after I was done, you can see what I have here. Can you see? Just look at what I'm showing you here. On this crotch line, you can see what I have here on the crotch. So now I'll just go ahead and cut out the excess I have here. Can you see? I'll just go ahead and cut off the excess. So after cutting, you can see where I have here. Now the next thing to do is to bring out the placket. Go ahead and bring it out like this. Now we are going to finish up the sewing by top stitching it. Okay, so after bringing it out, what you're going to do is to fold in your seam allowance. Do not do it like this. Just go ahead and fold it in, then use this one to cover it up. That's why it's very important to go ahead and iron it, just like I did initially. Okay, there was no light, so I had to wait for them to bring light. Just that I didn't change my table from where it is now to where it's supposed to be. All right, it's a different room. Okay, so right now you can see what I'm doing here. So now you're going to make sure that your crotch area is very relaxed. Make sure there is no clothes packing inside. Okay, so that's why I say this can be so tricky at this crotch line, especially if it's your first time making it. Okay, so just go ahead and place it like this. Then before you start sewing, you're going to turn it over to the wrong side, then bring your scissors, go ahead and notch the flap side, so it's going to relax very well. I noticed it wasn't relaxing, that's why I made use of my scissors, notched it so well, and after notching it I realized it relaxes very well. So go ahead and do yours like this, okay? So now on the crotch area, you're going to flip it over like this. Just go ahead and close it up. All right, at this point you already know what to do. Just go ahead and make a top stitch, okay? So make sure the flap is so relaxing. Do not spark clothes there and be very careful. So after I was done top stitching, you can see where I have here. So this is the back, okay? So now what I'm going to do for the back is to go ahead and make sure it laps at each other. All right, just look at what I'm going to do here. After arranging it in place like this is the place I notched. You can see that it's so relaxing, okay? So now we are going to go ahead and make one of them lap on top of each other. You can see what I did here. Then after lapping, this is where I have here, guys. So after lapping, go ahead and lock it, okay? Go ahead and lock it. That is just so on at the top, so you lock it. All right, so now you're going to start your sewing from the crotch. All right, so you're going to start your sewing from there, lock it from there till you get to the neckline side. After doing that, I will be right back. So guys, after I was done doing that, you can see what I have here. Can you see? So this is it, guys. After locking it like this or sewing it at the top, you will notice it relaxes very well. So remember the picture I'm using has a rope at the waistline, okay? So now what I did was to go ahead and firstly cut out this little band of 1 inch. So I cut it out, I cut 1.5, then sew it with 1/2 inch. Then what I have here is 1 inch, then go ahead and iron as well. So I'll just place it at the waistline for the upper part. Just go ahead and place it, okay? Then after placing like this, you are going to sew with you're going to sew the upper part, also sew the downside, do the same thing for the other side as well. So after doing that, I will be right back. So guys, after sewing, you can see what I have here. Can you see? All right, so now the next thing I did was again to sew these two ropes, sorry. So now I have the length of 19 inches for each of the ropes. I have the length of 19 inches. I did not sew this like we normally sew our ropes. I just sewed everything the wrong side, then turn it over, go ahead and iron it. You can also see I did sew both sides of the edges. I just sew one, then sew the other one for the other rope, and left the both edge open. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and pass it through here. Okay, so you can see the both edges I sew faced the center side, while the open edges faces the shape side. Okay, so that's how you go about fixing this rope. Okay, so after that, you can see what I have here. Now you can go ahead and tie it. All right, just go ahead and draw it a little bit, then you can go ahead and tie it like this. So after tying, you can head over to your sewing machine and sew the both sides so the rope is not going to shift or remove from there. The next thing you want to do is to place the back piece on top of it, right side facing each other. Then go ahead and join the both shoulders. Okay, go ahead and join the both shoulders. After joining the both shoulders, you are going to sew the both side as well. Just join the both side as well. Can you see? So I'll just go ahead and join the both side, join the both shoulder, and I'll be right back. So I've gone ahead to join the both shoulders, as you can see. Then also join the both side. Now I'll mark 4 inches, then go ahead and notch it like this. Also mark 4 inches. So I want to go ahead and sew the downside and also make my turn up. Okay, so I'll just come up by 4 inches. I added when I was cutting it. Just go ahead and notch like this. Okay, then after notching, I'm going to fold it into two, just like this. Go ahead and fold it into two. All right, from the notching side, you place it, then fold it into two. Head over to your sewing machine and sew straight. After sewing straight, I will be right back. I'll also do the same thing for the other side as well. So guys, I've gone ahead to fold, and after folding, I'll just turn it up like this. All right, so I'll use my pin to pin it down in place. So guys, after pinning, I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to top stitch it at this side. This place I pinned, I am going to top stitch it like that. So guys, after I was done, you can see what I have here. So I've gone ahead to join everything, and I also turn it over to the right side. So this is the rope. As you can see, this is the rope on the waist, and at the both side I have my pocket at the both side, as you can see. So this is how everything is looking. Can you see? And this is the turn up as well. I also joined the both crotch, as you can see. Alright, so go ahead and do yours like this. As you can see, this is how it's looking. Can you see? The next thing you want to do again is to go ahead and cut out the sleeve. So this is the piece I'm going to be making use of for this sleeve. So I'm going to just fold it in A-line shape. Alright, so the wideness I have there is 15 inches, and I'll measure the length. The length I have there is 15 inches. All right, so right now I want to go ahead and mark 9 inches here. Okay, then I'll go ahead and make my curve like this. Okay, so after making my curve, I'll also go ahead and connect it from the 9 inches I marked. Okay, connect it like this, then go ahead and cut it off. After cutting this one, I'll also place it on the other piece, then cut out the second sleeve. So now when you gather it, this is what it's going to look like. Can you see? So now this is the second sleeve. I am just cutting it out, as you all can see. So guys, here is the band. You know it has band at the hem. Alright, so this is the band. You can see that I have it too. Okay, so now you just go ahead and fold it like this. So when you pleat it, you're going to go ahead and face it, just join it. I'll just go ahead and join the bow sleeve. After sewing the bow sleeve, I will be right back to show you guys what it looks like. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done. So if you want your own sleeve very big, you can go ahead and add extra fabric or extra inches. Okay, so now this is the dress. I'll just head over to my sewing machine and I'll join the sleeve. I'll join it from the wrong side. I'll turn the wrong side of the dress, then also leave the front side of the sleeve like this. Go ahead and join it. Okay, so after I was done joining, you can see what I have here. All right, so I did the same thing on the other sleeve. Okay, so now what I have left is for me to fix the collar for the neckline. So I already have the tutorial on this channel. I'll fix it. I'll just go ahead and cut and fix it out of camera. All right, if you don't know how to fix and cut this, I'm going to leave a link in show below, so you go ahead and watch a video or my tutorial on how to cut and sew or join your collar for shirt. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and sew. Then after sewing, you can see what I have here. Can you see how everything is looking? So the this picture on the side of my screen was the picture inspiration, and this is what I made. Thank you so much for watching.